You've got mail.
Well, I think we'll go ahead and call the budget meeting to order, and this is for DLGF budget reports. Dee has brought this to our attention, and this is our estimate for our budget form for 2021. And this is our final approved budget. This is where we'll review the line items again, and we'll approve our budget at this time. So if we look at, go down the list, we're looking at the general for $1,800, and that's salaries for board members. The clerk treasurer's salary is $1,800. The payroll taxes are $500. The payroll taxes and Medicare is $200. Office expense is $2,500. Professional services, attorneys, that's $8,000. Public notices is $400. Bonds and liability for the firemen, that's $14,000. Electric and gas is $15,000. The phone is $1,800. The repairs are $2,000. Hydrant rental is $3,000. Other services and charges are $2,500. Weed control, fire control, mosquito control. That line item budget there is $6,000, and that is a general total of $59,500 that we will submit for our budget. For the general fund, local roads and streets, that's $3,000, and yeah, $3,000 is for that. The motor vehicle highway is $25,000. That would be budgeted for us. And the cumulative capital, the CIG improvement fund is $4,500. And for a grand total of $92,000 for our total budget for the year 2021. So, do you have any comment, Dee, that you want to make?
No. I'm very happy that DLGF approved it and didn't make me cut anything. Well, with COVID, I didn't know. I wasn't sure. I thought we were going to have to cut a lot.
Yeah. And this is the best budget we've had for
Yeah.
ever, I think, as far as I know.
As long as I've been here.
Yeah. So, I don't know why all of a sudden they decided to forget more funds.
Well, we've been saving too. Some of that's left over from this year.
Yeah.
Because we've been very tight.
Yes. So with all that being said, we'll have $92,000 budget for the year 2021 for us to make a vote on. I'll make a nomination and bring this budget estimate to the table to be voted on.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. I made the motion. Monty has seconded it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? And that is 0. So our budget for 2021 is
Okay, now I need you guys to sign by your name. I can say name. And the I or nay.
Okay, I'll get you another meeting. Okay. All right, so our budget has been approved. I'm not that next signature of that. This is for the meeting.
Second and third.
That's in the budget here.
There's our suit here. I've seen her stuff. Here you go, here's for the meeting.
Here's something.
All right, September
Yeah,
8th.
hand me that one back. Now, I'm gonna get all these.
Gary.
And then you need to sign this one. And I'm going to get down to my one right folder.
Yeah, I got one. You need one?
Give me some more on it.
Now we wait. Now we wait. So with that being said and everything else, I think that conducts all the business we need for the budget meeting. So we'll make a motion to close that hearing. John seconded. I made the motion. John seconded. All those in favor? Aye. So the budget meeting has been officially closed, adopted. 7:30 meeting time. Let's go ahead and start with stand for the pledge. Anything comes up, we'll take it as it comes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start off, and we usually start with the public. Bethany, you got?
Yes. I'm actually here on behalf of the Forever Fund. And when I walked in, you were already talking about trick-or-treating, and that's what we wanted to talk about. We weren't sure if anybody had come up with any guidelines yet, or if we were going to be able to have it. But our last meeting, we were talking about the fact that we usually do a movie night in the fall. And so we were thinking if it would be okay to coincide that with Halloween, do it on Halloween, and have sort of like a trunk or treat event at the ballpark, and invite local businesses and the churches that, like the Christian church that already does the popcorn, have them come up there, and the Forever Fund could provide the hot dogs and the hot chocolate like you guys usually do here at the community building, just kind of have one central location, and advertise like in the paper and on Facebook and things like that, and tell community members, instead of having kids come to their front porch, if they want to come and set up a card table with their candy, and the kids can all kind of be right there together doing it. And we would do the movie at dark, I guess. I don't know, on October 31st, probably around 8 o'clock at least, I would
Maybe
say.
that's on a Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be something we were looking at, you know, for the guidelines for that. And like I said, my experience, the only thing with outside activities that year, it could be nice tonight.
Right.
It could be a better.
Well, that would just be a cancellation. If it was nasty, we would postpone or reschedule. It would just be, we just cancel it.
Yeah, I'd like to, we could sit down and coordinate, you know, and see what we want to do, you know, for that, and see what we got going. You know, if it would be conducive, you could have your hot dogs and stuff in here, and they could go for the movie later. Mm-hmm. So then if you wanted to do something like that, or if the board approves, you know, for that, why, then that wouldn't interrupt all of your activities. You know, that one portion of it could go on inside up here.
Right.
And that the church, and I'm not speaking for them, but they usually like to set up right in front of their church.
Right.
On that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So, but on the free movie or the free movie part of it for that evening, why, you know, that's up to you guys there, and we could discuss that and see.
Okay.
And I haven't presented it to the board members. There's an article there, one of the local communities is looking that rain or shine from 5 to 8 for their activities. And then the thing that they were looking at was all of their tricks and treats would be commercially wrapped. And there would be no things like hot dogs, this and that, and everything else.
Okay.
You know, just to prevent, you know, just as a precautionary thing, you know, in that respect. So those are things that we have to throw around and figure out, you know, how we're going to do that between now and then and what would be meaningful. I wasn't aware that you guys were wanting to try to do anything, you know, with the Forever Fund, so.
Well, it was kind of what we, at our last meeting, we talked about it. We wanted to do one last thing before the weather turned real cold, and since we couldn't do anything in the spring, as far as moving, you know, after ball season, we thought this might be a good time if the kids were already out and about anyway.
Yeah.
So that was our idea.
Yeah, well, and the town's we've always had hot dogs, chips and things. Of course, everybody's sort of aware of that. And if we'd done that, you know, I don't know about both of them, you know,
Right.
just have
Right.
one deal. But if we can all get together and sit down and get something worked out,
Okay.
I think that works.
Okay.
Okay.
We can just let you know in our next meeting. I mean, we'll have a meeting before then. You mean come to that meeting and we'll talk about it then? Is
Yes.
that what your thoughts are?
Yeah, this would be our public meeting, you know, so I think what we can look at is an abbreviation or, you know, a plan that would be developed, you know, that we could look at if it's acceptable, you know, we could, you know, go on from there since it's just sort of hitting us all here at the first of the month and that's the last of the month.
Okay.
You know, just have insight on that. So, when would be a good time for you guys to meet, you know, with?
I don't know, because of kids' sports schedules and Mandy works some nights, so I'll get with them and see.
Okay, all right.
So,
Yep.
and I'm sure you, Blair, can talk to you about whenever we decide to do that again.
Okay.
So are you thinking it'd be better probably to still do the hot dogs and stuff here, and then, since it's always been here, if we're still allowed to do that? again?
Well, yeah, my thing would be is just because of the weather, that if you got rained out or snowed out on the movie, you know, you could still
They
sort of,
could still come here and
you
do
know,
that part.
yeah.
As far as the hot dogs and stuff go, probably could talk to Jennifer Simpson. She can probably give some insight to that because see with concessions in school, it has to be a certain way.
Right, yeah, they're boxing things at the concession
Yeah,
stand.
they got, yeah, well, the hot dogs and sandwiches and stuff like that has to be wrapped individually in aluminum foil. No open containers
Right.
of mustards and ketchups, it has to be all,
Yes.
where they can pick up little packets. But
Yeah.
like I say, yeah, other than information like that,
Yeah.
she might be a good
Right,
source for what's allowed and what's not.
yeah, I'll do that.
And if there would be anything, you know, that would be the questionable part, that would be it, the hot dogs and those things. I think if we set the hours and designate that we'd like the products and the treats to be individually wrapped, and then the distancing be at the resident, you know, and the trick-or-treater, you know, that's something that would be agreeable to them. That would give everybody an opportunity to go out and go trick-or-treating and all that.
Right, and like I said, we were thinking if we advertise in the paper, there might be other local businesses that if their town's thing was getting canceled, they could come to the ballpark and,
Yeah,
you know, do what they do.
yeah. The thing we'd have to look at, not like you said on the movie, and that part being outside event, social
Yeah.
distancing and all that.
Right, yes.
So, if you could give us some guidelines on that and everything else, and we'll look at, as soon as you can give me or give us a notice, we'll try to get that done so we can get it in the paper and get it approved then by the end of the month.
Okay, I'll get with them and see when
Okay,
they are able to meet again, and I'll have Blair get back with you on that one.
that'll work, yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, perfect, thank you for your time.
You bet, thank you. Okay. Well, want to do what we can do, but on the other hand, you know,
It's scary.
yeah. Go on that. There's kids that are restricted from school now, being quarantined, and new ones are coming up every day.
My granddaughter missed a week of school because she was around somebody that tested positive. Thanks more than Pete her.
130 kids out of
There's a lot more
Lily's
than
class.
that.
Wasn't there 30 kids out of Lily's class?
There's 36 out of
36?
the 6th grade level.
Well, there's 30 out of the
She's a
sophomore.
sophomore.
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know what the high school is, but I know the only thing that middle school there was 36 kids were out.
Okay. And Montezuma, I think, is on the record already for, they've canceled everything. So the other thing that you run into too that we want to take into consideration is if one town cancels out, then they're all, they come from here to there, they drive, from here to there to, rather than just local kids, it could be anybody doing everything else. So as soon as they get their plans back together, we'll sit down and get something hashed out, and we'll get you something for the paper on that. And that's the earlier the better, probably there. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Do you have anything you need to say? Just in case she has nothing, we've made a budget for next
In
year.
our budget, that's all I have for you.
Okay, all right. We have Precision Tree Service has agreed to cut down this tree here and the one down there. They haven't gotten that done yet, but they're still online for taking these 2 trees down that we have right here in town.
And which two are they, one out here, one
Run,
out on
yeah, run right down here in front of where Johnson used to live.
Okay.
You can almost see about the window and the other ones down at the alley. Those are the 2 that we're looking at first. And then also they are going to look at just taking some of the dead stuff maybe out of the ones over by the ballpark and on the road over there. So, and that's what we pretty much talked before. I think it's just a matter of dollars and cents. They wanted to wait till maybe some of the trees fell so they could get the leaves off so we could take them down. Okay.
Where are they from?
They're local guys. I think they're just.
I think I've seen that truck,
Mhm.
but I didn't know where it was from.
Yeah. Okay, we'll start off with the water. We had some delinquent accounts, and we've had some shut-off notices that have been issued on those. And I think on shut-offs, we had what, there remained 1?
We had, I sent 22 disconnects, we shut it off 9, and I have 2 that are still off.
Okay. So we've sent out the notices on those, and then everybody's recovered with the exception of 2 accounts. On those, we had, with the water system at the well field, there was a, REMC had a power outage down in the Montezuma area, and which allowed us to be down for a period of time without being able to produce water. We could operate part of our plant, but we couldn't operate all of it on our generating system that we got. So we were down at that point in time, but everything worked out fine. And they got power restored, and we were able to go ahead and consume back to pumping and getting everything back leveled out.
Where was that?
That was Monday evening, I think it was. And Marshall was doing some maintenance on their tower. It was almost like a tabletop scenario if you wanted to have an emergency plan that Marshall was doing some service work on their tower. So they were pumping constantly on pop-off valves. So that continually draws water. And then we had a power outage at the main plant, which didn't allow us to be able to produce water. So we were just using what we had stored. And then I think there was a fire run, during the middle of all that. But we got everything restored, everything was fine. And we had no shortages other than that. So Marshall was since getting their tire back into service and off of the pop-off valves, and everything's rolling right along on that aspect of it. So that and the delinquent accounts that we're still following up on, that's all the work that we've had for the water system. For the town, I don't know, I haven't, other than our budget that we approved, the main items that we had here was the some trees to be trimmed up for the town. And we're also looking at getting with the school bus driver to see if she has any low limbs or things that are within our district, that need to be trimmed up periodically. She does, and we haven't gotten with her, so we'll get with her and get that taken care of too. I will meet with, or we will meet, or can meet, all of us can be there, I think this Thursday, the 8th of October, if that's Thursday. The 8th of October, we're going to meet again with West Central Indiana Economic Development in regard to our plan here for our fire heights. So he's going to give us an update on that and everything else. So I know you guys are working, but I'll see where we're at and what we need to do to follow up from there. And I don't know, Thursday, what your schedule might be. If you're available, that may be something you want to set in.
I am available Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, I'm going back to the doctor.
Okay, all right.
Are you going to be with them morning or afternoon?
That has yet to be determined.
Okay.
But it's going to be.
Well, here's all the
Okay.
addresses.
Okay. All right. So these are, what we were looking to do is establish the addresses for an income survey to look at, so we can get that accomplished. And that'll be with Terry Jones with Economic Development. Let's see. I don't know.
Yeah, try to work in the morning if you can.
Okay. Getting Terry up this way in the morning.
I know.
Depends on what direction he takes off and what circle he is, how busy he is.
But I may call my appointments for late afternoon because that's when I'm off.
Okay.
I've got a lot of catching up to do.
Other than that, I think in the guidelines with the county and the Covered Bridge Festival being canceled, I don't know that has affected any operations or any here within the county.
I heard a commercial on Waxy about all that fund that takes money and helps out the people. Now that they can't make any money during the festival, but they're taking donations to help them.
I think the,
I don't know. I don't remember who it was. I didn't remember.
It's Park County Community Foundation.
Yeah, Community Fund Foundation.
the Friends Church is still going to make apple butter due to the fact that their organization is at their residence and they've always made it there and everything else. So I still think they're planning to produce apple butter. So that's everything we should have that would be within the limits of it. Of course, that would be all approved through, it's within the parameters of everything that's been said. So on that, but the Friends Church will be having apple butter. Anything else? Any questions?
What is Bethany's last name? She's with the Forever Fund?
Yes.
Tidwell.
Tidwell.
Tidwell, Tidwell?
Yes. And we'll get with them since we've never had a movie and they haven't done anything. This will be the first year that they want to sort of go out on their own. So we'll see, want to get everybody, what everybody's doing, try to make it all work for everybody. So we'll probably try to have that meeting maybe by the last of this week. So if that happens, we'll get with you,
That'd be good.
get you squared up to them. Anything else?
Somebody asked me about something going on in town. Well, there's a house down there on, if you're going out of town. Are you doing anything with those?
Well, we go to court on one residence,
That's what
and as
that
soon
was,
as we
that
got,
was the only thing I could tell them.
yeah,
I
and we
forget
got
who it was
two,
asked me.
yeah, we're taking one at a time, and we've got one that we're going back to court on for final disposition, and that's for the rendering of a home that doesn't meet the ordinance standards in a sense as far as trash and debris and everything else within that. that one, we go back to court on the date that we had. There was some confusion in the time that we met. So we had to reschedule the court date for the final one. It was on the 28th, I think, was the day we were supposed to go to court. We didn't make it. So I'm glad you brought that up. But there are a couple of other residents that as soon as we get that one done, then we'll go ahead and initiate the other two at that time.
Yeah, I told them we talked about it and court was gonna happen, but
Yeah. Well, that's on the one residence.
Yeah.
This one here we'll have to file notice on. And we've already agreed to do that, so we're just sort of waiting on the disposition of that one, then we'll file the others. See how much money we have before we bounce out and do something. Anything else? Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second motion.
I don't need to make a motion. Or I need a motion, I guess.
You need a motion?
He needs a motion.
Excuse me.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, John's
All
gonna
those in
make
favor?
it,
Okay.
and Lonnie's gonna second.
I'll play C.
All those in favor?
Aye.
One order of business when we messed it
And
up.
I gotta do